Hello, hello everybody in the Moving Beyond Fear Facebook community. Coming to you live a little bit late. Thank you for your patience if you are waiting. If you're here with me live, say hello. Let me know you're here. And also want to just welcome all the new members to this space, to this community, all the people who are becoming aware and conscious of relationship anxiety and OCD. There is truly just this collective awakening to what relationship anxiety is and all the barriers that we have to love. And love is really expansion. So that when we allow ourselves to finally step into love, we are expanding. We are actually raising our collective consciousness when we can allow ourselves to love. So just you actually overcoming your fear, which is contraction. And when we act out of a place of fear, we're not acting out of a place of love. So when one person evolves and awakens and makes those changes and heals in their ability to love, it is rippling out into the rest of humanity, and we're actually changing collective consciousness. Like, holy crap, how amazing is that? So I just want to really let you guys know what a big deal it is for you to be a part of this community and for you to do the healing work, to step out of constant contraction and fear and survival mode and actually step into the expansiveness of love. Because you're not healing just for you, you're healing for humanity. When you become more aware and enlightened and conscious, that ripples out into the world around you. And can you imagine how our world would be if more people could love? If more people stepped out of fear and judgment and shame and criticism, and more people could love? We need this now more than ever. We need to be able to love and not be driven by fear now more than ever. More than ever. And the reason why I came on late, I'm going to be really candid with you. For those of you who've been in this community for a while, or for those of you who are new, I just really want to be really candid with you and really honest with you about my own internal process today. I'm feeling like a heaviness. I'm feeling sadness. I feel like this pressure to my face and to my eyes, and that's usually what I feel when I feel sadness. Like tears want to come. I feel sadness when I see people so stuck in their suffering, and I hear it every single day. I do relationship anxiety assessments, and I hear it every day. I see the suffering, I see the tears, I can sense the pain. So I'm seeing suffering. And the thing that is really weighing on me today is when people still choose to not do the work and commit to themselves, even though it's scary. I know it's scary. Because in not choosing to do the work, you're continuing to choose suffering, to choose the pain, to choose the pattern because it's familiar. And fear will do everything that it can to stay in the familiar. Even though it's painful to be in the relationship anxiety and OCD, even though it's painful, there's something familiar about it. And so fear will do whatever it can to convince you to not make a change, to not do the scary things, to not take the risks. And that really, I'm human, and so I see that and I feel that, and I'm an empath, and so it weighs on me. When I see someone, they're like at the brink, and I know that they could finally make a change, and I know that we can support them to do that, and I know how amazing it's going to be for them on the other side. And then I sense this energetic backpedal of like, no, I can't. Hey, Sarah. And it's just really weighing on me today, and I feel a lot of sadness around that. Because like I said, your healing, you choosing to take the risk, to do the work, to invest your time, money, and energy, it's so much bigger than I think you realize. It's so much more important than I think you realize. Like I said, we have the opportunity to change collective consciousness when we allow ourselves to expand into love. It changes you from the inside out, and you're external world begins to reflect that back to you. It changes the dynamic in your relationship. It changes how you show up at work. It changes how you show up for your family. It changes how you show up for your friends. It changes how you see the world. And when we can see the world through the lens of love, see ourselves through the lens of love, see our partners through the lens of love, everything changes. Everything changes. So it's not some small thing to do this work, to step into healing. And investing in healing is the most important thing you could ever use your money for. Like, what? We can spend $30,000 on a car and have a payment on that. I know we need cars. But it's like easy for us to be like, okay, a car, $20,000, $30,000. But when it comes to our relationships, which are the bedrock of humanity, we need them to thrive and survive. For some reason, we can't think about investing and using money as a tool and a vehicle for that. We use money for cars, we use money for education, for careers. So like our physical needs, our education, career. But for some reason, there's this energetic block that I'm feeling. And I want to speak to that. There's an energetic block for using money as a tool to improve our relationships. There's no school for relationships, and yet that's what causes the most suffering for us as humans. We go to school, we go to college, we learn something for a trade or a career, and yet we're still suffering. And so doing the healing work, let's think of it like this. It's like investing in school for relationships. It's like you're going to school to learn about yourself, about emotions. They don't teach that in school. And hopefully that's coming soon. Hopefully they teach us how to be with our emotions, how to deal with our anxiety, how to be in healthy relationships. Hopefully they teach that in schools. But for now, I really want to give you this shift in consciousness of seeing doing your healing work as an investment, going to school for your healing, for your emotional well-being. We also put money into health, to fitness, but there's a block. And remember, money is simply an energy and a currency that we use to create the life we want. Yes, thank you, Samuel. I have red earrings today. That's where the fire is coming from, the red. I don't wear red a lot. Money is simply an energy and a currency. And we can use money to create the life we want. We can use money to get support. And we're getting so much more in return when we're able to heal from the inside out and be able to enjoy our relationships, feel free, feel love. Love is what changes us. Love is what changes the world. So I feel like there was this collective energetic thing that's been happening that I've been seeing over and over and over, this pattern. Contraction around money when it comes to getting support. Yes, I feel like I needed to speak to that. Kansu said, I'm a teacher and this is my goal for the children's future. I hope I can teach this. Yes. As humanity is evolving and expanding, eventually we won't be left with all this baggage. But right now you have the opportunity to break these patterns. And that's what's going to create the better future for your children. Your healing is not just your healing. It's yes for you first. You are the first beneficiary. But it's your children's healing. If you are in a generational pattern of divorce and unhealthy relationships and not knowing how to deal and manage with emotion, you are the link. You get to step into that, to be the one that says, nope, we're breaking this pattern right here. I know my family sucked at relationships and there was so much pain. It stops with me. So remember, your healing is no small thing. And it's actually the most noble and courageous thing you could ever do in this lifetime. It's the most important thing you could ever use money for, use your time for, use your energy for. Because it will change the way you live your life. It will change the way you see yourself. It will change the way you show up at work. It's no small thing. It's actually the most important thing you could do in this lifetime. You're transforming your own self from the inside out. You're transforming human collective consciousness. You're transforming how you're going to show up for your kids and what you're going to teach your kids. You're transforming your ability to show up at work with more power and anxiety, not always being this dark cloud looming over you. Don't you want that? Don't you want that more than anything? Feel into that. Tune into that desire. Because I come on here and I answer questions every single week, and I notice that there's a lot of the same questions every week. So I'm going to kind of interrupt the pattern here. I want to be really bold, and I feel very vulnerable doing this, but I feel like I need to interrupt the pattern that I've been seeing even in this collective space. And as the leader of this space, it is actually my duty to see these patterns, to call them out, to encourage us and empower us to step up instead of staying back in the fear. If you're in this space, if you're moving beyond fear, you're committed to move beyond fear. We're moving beyond fear. As a part of this vortex, as a part of this space, as a part of this collective and moving beyond fear, we're committed to actually moving beyond fear. And I'm here to shine the light and say, this is how you're going to do it. You've got to make a sacred commitment to yourself, to the universe, to the divine, or whatever you believe, to the life around you, to the people around you. Make a sacred commitment saying, generational patterns of unhealthy relationships stop with me. Living in fear and contraction, stop with me. Living from a place of survival instead of thriving stops here. Enough. I'm moving beyond fear. I'm making that sacred commitment to myself, because it is a sacred commitment. Like I said, it's no small thing to step into your healing, to commit to it. It's no small thing. It's the bravest, most courageous, most powerful thing you could ever do. And I say that from experience because it was like an awakening. It changed the way I saw life. I saw myself. It changed the way I lived my life. It changed the way I showed up in my relationship with my now husband. It changed the way I show up for my clients, show up for other people, change the way I see the world. It's no small thing. It's no small thing. It's the most important thing. Ooh, there's a lot of energy around that. And I feel like I really needed to speak that. So if you're with me live or you're watching the replay, just breathe with me. Breathe into that energy of empowerment, of that sacred commitment of saying, yes, I'm going to do whatever it takes to move beyond fear, because I want to live in expansiveness. I want to live in love. I want to break patterns and generational curses and patterns of fear, pain, trauma, broken relationships, emotional avoidance and denial. I want to break that pattern. I'm making a commitment to do whatever it takes, no matter how scary and out of my comfort zone, because I actually need to do the scary things to break this pattern. And the only way out is through. Yeah. I see 11 of you watching with me live. How does that feel? What are you noticing for yourself? Yes, Carolina, breaking this pattern of bad relationships for yourself and also for your daughter. That's the most courageous thing a mother could do. The most beautiful thing. It's no small thing. Yeah, we needed that activation. There needs to be an activation, call to empowerment, because fear keeps us in our disempowerment, keeps us in indecisiveness. It keeps us in the limbo, paralyzed to make a decision. And I'm calling you forth to make a decision. Thanks, Nicole. Sounds magical. Yeah, it is magical. So empowering. Yes. Make that like your life mission. That's freaking my life mission, to always be expanding and evolving and continually peeling back the layers that dim my light. Peeling back the layers of fear and disempowerment, because it's a lifelong journey. We're always in the healing. It's not like we finish. I'm not finished. I'm not finished. There's still so much more for me to explore and expand with. And that is what my life is about. It's about expansion. Expansion, unlearning everything that the collective pain has taught me, unlearning that, and stepping fully into my power, my love, and seeing how freaking expansive I can be, how powerful I can be, how bright of a light I can be. That's what my life's about. And you know what? That's what I use my money for. To learn all that I can learn and unlearn what I need to learn, to get support, to break patterns that I can't always see myself, and knowing that I can't do it alone and that I need support. And it's the best thing I could ever use my money for. Yeah. Yes. Ooh. So after that TED Talk, I'm going to dive into some questions. I'm only answering 4 because a lot of the questions that were asked, I've actually asked recently. I've actually answered recently in previous Q&As. So if you're new to this space, you can access all previous Q&As. There's a popular topics section in this group. It says popular topics, and all the posts are categorized. That's also why we ask people to use hashtags so that we can categorize each post. Keeps the space organized, all on the same page. So you can look up Q&A videos, and I post every question that I've answered. So a lot of the questions that were asked this week, I imagine there might be new people who asked questions. I know I talked about guilt and shame about ROCD. Someone asked about that. That was answered a couple weeks ago. So check out the previous Q&As. Yeah, and I'll dive into today's questions. I'm answering 4 today. That's what my energy is capable of today. I felt that. I wanted to kind of push through that and say, oh no, I'm going to do 5. But my energy, I want to honor my own energy and my own energetic boundaries. So let's dive in. You ready? Ooh, today's Q&A is on fire. I can already feel it. Okay. How do I overcome relapses? And the rest of this post says, I felt like I was finally getting somewhere last week and progressing. Whereas this week, it almost feels like I just want to finish my relationship here and now and just never hear from him again. I don't want this at all. Maybe it's because it's the week leading up to a period that everything feels so real. How to deal with this? Yes. I want to normalize relapses because I know you guys have probably heard a million times, like healing is not linear, healing is not linear. And I actually want to break down for you why it's not linear and why that's actually part of the process and why that's a beautiful part of the process and a necessary part of the process, that it's not linear and that we do have relapses and how that's normal and part of the whole growth journey. I've showed this little diagram to basically every single one of my clients, and I'm going to show it to you today. I drew it, and I'm really bad at drawing, so don't judge me. That's how I draw lines. So this, where am I? This is really what the healing journey looks like. We're like moving forward. We're like, yeah, oh my gosh, things are going well. And then we're like, huh? What the heck? Why am I going backwards? Why am I going backwards? I just went backwards. But something's happening here. As we're moving forward, we're collecting new awareness, new tools, new wisdom, and we're bringing it back to this point that we revisit, this relapse. We're bringing something new to this point that we've already visited, that we've already been to. So what are you bringing this time around to this relapse? What new awareness, insights, or tools are you bringing? How can you see this episode of anxiety differently? What are you learning this time? What is it teaching you this time? What new layer of pain is it pointing you to this time? And we're going to keep doing it. We're going to move forward again. Oh, yeah, things are going well. Look at me. Up, 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 and up, and up, and up. What the heck? I thought I already dealt with this point here. What the heck? I thought we already went here. Yes, but remember, gosh, there's all this stuff that you gained that you're bringing on the way back. So look at it like that. Expect relapses. and look at them as an opportunity. First, ask myself, what new awareness, tools, wisdom, and insight am I bringing this time around? What can I learn this time around? What can I do differently? Or what new things has this taught me? What is this teaching me about myself? And if you feel like you're going backwards and you're not learning any tools, that means it's time for support. Because that just might mean we're so stuck in the pattern and we don't know how to get out. But if you're getting support, if you're learning tools, if you're doing inner work and you have relapse, like that's a normal part of the process. Because again, you're learning new tools, you're gaining new awareness, insight, and wisdom. You're growing and you're revisiting that previous pain point with all that new stuff that you're bringing to it. It's a new opportunity to learn. So look at it like that. And if you feel really stuck in a pattern, get support. Get support. Remember, it's no small thing. It's the most important thing that you can do in this lifetime is to break out of this pattern of fear so that you can step into expansiveness. Yeah. Okay, next question is, how do you grapple with society's constant messages that you can't be young and settle down? You can't be young and be in a committed forever relationship. And she posted more about so feeling like she's seeing all her friends, going in and out of relationships, and feeling the need to move on, close this chapter in her life, try something new. I'm so young, I need to meet new people, explore who I am. This is just the beginning, so you can't know what's best for you. So these types of messages in society. So first of all, great awareness, recognizing that this is society's messaging. And ultimately, we get to choose our own path. And remembering that even a couple decades ago, a generation ago, the norm was to get married young. So also societal norms are always changing. So it's really about what's best for us. And this is often this feeling of anxiety around settling down and choosing to be with your partner because you're young often can stem from lack of self-trust, not trusting in your decisions, not trusting that what if this is your unique path and there's nothing wrong with that, and tying your worthiness. This was one for me, tying my worthiness with my experiences. I need to have more experiences. Should I have dated more? Matt and I met when I was 22. I know that's not super, super young, but that's pretty young. And so, getting married at 26, I kind of started having like, oh my gosh, should I have dated around more? Because I was kind of a serial monogamous. Well, I'd always been in long-term relationships. So I got out of one long-term relationship. A couple months later, met Matt, got into another long-term relationship. And being like, oh my gosh, should I have dated around more? Should I have had like casual sex and casual relationships? Should I have explored more? Like, oh my gosh. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. There's fear around this. There's anxiety around this. There's mistrust around this within myself. What is that really about? Explore, explore, explore. And you know how to do that. You know how to ask yourself these questions. You know how to go inward when you've had someone guide you through this process and you know how to do it. So I know how to do this for myself. And some things came up like, oh, what would it mean about me if I didn't have all these experiences? What would it mean about me if I did settle down young? Oh, like people who have had these experiences are somehow better? It's somehow better? And so therefore I'm somehow less than for not having all these experiences? That it means something about me, or I've missed out, and if I've missed out, then there's something missing within me. You hear that? So there's often deeper wounds or lack of self-trust. And also, I also needed to grieve. I needed to grieve the fact that I didn't do that. And that's okay for me to feel grief about the fact that I didn't do the whole young and explore thing, so that I can make emotional space to fully step into my relationship. Because whatever path we choose, in doing that, we're naturally not choosing all these other paths. And sometimes we need to grieve the roads we never got to travel because we chose this path. And every decision in life we make has that. Every decision in life we make, we're saying yes to one thing and we're saying no to something else. So it's okay to feel sad about the thing you said no to, so that you can actually be fully all in on the thing you said yes to. Yeah. Yeah. How does that feel? That feels, whoo, yeah. I love that one. So ultimately, it's up to you. There's no right or wrong. There's no perfect path. You're not less than because you didn't do all these things. And you don't actually need to be single to find yourself. You can explore who you are and do all of these amazing things in a relationship. A relationship's not a trap. We're not stuck. I have been able to be an awesome, badass female entrepreneur in a marriage and like do all these awesome things as a married woman. And I feel so free. I feel so fulfilled. So also looking at the beliefs of, can I not be fulfilled while also being in a committed relationship? That's probably a limiting belief there, and exploring what's the pain around that. Did you witness your parents stuck in a miserable marriage and feel like, oh, if I'm settled down, if I'm married, if I'm committed, then I'm stuck in misery? So we got to explore all these things. There's always layers. And me answering this question isn't going to suddenly make you feel confident about your decision to stay with your partner even at a young age. Got to do the inner work. Remember, it's no small thing. It's the most important thing you can do. All right, question number 3. So lately I haven't had many intrusive thoughts, and when I do, I can't get through it. I can get through it and realize the thoughts aren't true. Progress, whoop whoop. However, the one thing I seem to struggle with is not loving enough or not feeling loving feelings. Any advice or wisdom on how to deal with not having all these loving feelings? A couple things here. First of all, woo woo. Let's celebrate that you're beginning to disidentify from the thoughts, meaning you are not the thoughts. The thoughts do not mean something about you or your relationship. They are not your truth. So that is the first step. That is the first. You're at the first step. That's amazing. Another thing is our expectations. I see the word enough. Sarah, love the concept of grieving the past we didn't choose. I think sometimes we have a lot of shame about that because we shouldn't feel that way if we really loved our partners and wanted to be with them. Yes, you're allowed to love your partner and be sad. Being a human is complicated. Just ride the wave. Being a human is complicated. Okay, so speaking of being a human is complicated, we can have these expectations that that love needs to feel some sort of certain way. And I've talked about this, I think, in the last week. Like, what is the expectation of what loving enough feels like or looks like? Where did you get this standard of enough love, or how you should feel? Exploring that a bit. And the other piece to this is, when we have been in anxiety for so long, and we've been in this pattern of anxiety for so long, what anxiety does is numbs us from feelings. Anxiety's main goal is to protect us from the possibility of feeling pain. And when we block ourselves off from the possibility of feeling pain, and we numb ourselves from ever wanting to feel pain, we also numb ourselves to love, joy, and connection. So we have frozen feelings. We're numb to a lot of feelings because anxiety keeps us up here and away from here, which is where feelings live. Feelings live in our bodies. And anxiety keeps us up here so that we're not down here, because it believes it's safer to be up here in our thoughts, overthinking, overanalyzing, planning, figuring out. It's safer to be up here than it is to be down here in the realm of feeling. So what has to happen is like this thawing process. You've been numb for so long. When we're in a fear state, we also lose access to our social engagement system, which is our ability to connect and bond and be intimate. So there's a lot of disconnect from feeling. So the next part of this after analyzing your expectations, are my expectations realistic? Is, okay, now I've got to learn how to feel again. I've actually got to learn how to feel pain and sadness and grief, which is what my anxiety has been trying to get me to avoid the possibility of feeling. And when I can make space for the possibility of all feelings, knowing that no feeling is bad, no feeling is going to hurt me, that all feelings are part of this journey of life, is to experience, to live, to feel. When we can begin to thaw the frozenness, to allow ourselves to feel the pain that we've been separated from, it creates this soil for love to grow and emerge. Because also our body believes that it's not safe to feel. It's safer to just numb ourselves. So our body has to learn, oh, it's okay for me to feel love, joy, connection. That doesn't mean I'm going to get hurt. It's okay for me to feel vulnerable. That doesn't mean something bad's around the corner. So we have to first dismantle the defensive mechanism of the mind, drop down into feeling, which is in the body, and that's why we are healing embodied. Because the journey isn't just here. This is only the tip of the iceberg. We've got to learn how to feel again. To learn what it means to feel, to be human, to be fully human, to love, to connect, to cry, to hug, to embrace, to feel everything that comes with being on this earth. So the next part is to learn to feel, to get back into your body. Are you in your body? That's where feelings live. Emotions are energy in motion in our body. It's that all that energy you feel within yourself when you have an emotion. So the next step is getting back into your body, letting your body know slowly and gently that it's safe to feel again. It can unthaw. You can reconnect so that you can finally feel again. And it's a process, right? It's not like a switch, all of a sudden we can feel. Our body must learn. It's got to trust again that it's okay to feel. That you can, if you feel, you're going to be okay. Yeah. And we teach you these tools in all of our work at Healing Embodied. The Safety Within course, we get you back into your body, feeling into your body, being connected with your body, not just always in your mind, which is where most of us stay, and that's where our prison is. We get you back into your body in the Safety Within course, in all of our group and individual work. That's where we take you, back into feeling, being fully alive, being able to sense again, and not just live up here. Live from here. That expansiveness I talked about instead of contraction. Expanding our capacity to feel and therefore our capacity to love. Okay. Last question. How do you work with the resistance that can be constant, especially in moments where you try to build connection through going on dates? So these times you're trying to build connection with your partner and you feel resistance. Again, since I'm not working with you, it's hard for me to give you accurate feedback. So this is just going to be based on theory and what I've seen with clients of mine. So if this doesn't feel like it fits for you, take it with a grain of salt. Here's my chai tea with oat milk. I've been drinking oat milk this week, and it's pretty nice. All right. So we often have resistance because it's a protective mechanism. It's the contraction. It's the pulling back. It's the pulling away. It's the keeping one foot out the door. It's the not leaning all the way in. So it's a protective mechanism that says it's safer to stay back here, to not feel, to not lean in, to not be all the way there. Safer here. My body, my subconscious body and mind believes it's safer to resist. to kind of have that distance, to not fully feel and lean in. So a part of this often is that our body, like, we can't think our way out of resistance, because again, our subconscious, our emotional brain, our midbrain is running the show. And most of our behavior and our reactions are from a subconscious place. And we communicate to the subconscious through our body, because our subconscious is the emotional brain. Our body and nervous system are always communicating with our emotional brain, our limbic system. And I talk a lot about this. I've talked about it in some other videos in here. So you can check some of that out. So our body must learn slowly and gently. And in somatic experiencing, in the somatic therapy world, we call it titrating. Learning to lean in, kind of step back, breathe. Okay, body's like, okay, I can tolerate that. I can feel that. It's safe. Lean in a little bit more. Come back a little bit. Okay, that was safe. We did that. Yeah, okay. Expand into that feeling a little bit more. Okay, I can do this. This is safe. This is good. Expanding the capacity of what we can feel. Because the resistance to lean into connection is often that protection from vulnerability. So, and protection from the feelings of connection and love, because there's some fear there around really fully feeling and leaning into love. So our body's got to learn it's safe to love. It's safe to connect. It's safe to be intimate. It's safe to be seen. It's safe to be vulnerable. And that it's actually necessary. Or else we're always going to get those intrusive thoughts that act as a protective mechanism to pull us back into resistance. Or we'll feel the resistance in our body, that subconscious bodily response that we get, the tension, the nausea, the right? The emotional response. So we've got to teach the body how to move through that resistance, how to breathe with it. When we come up against the resistance, we say, ooh, there's some fear here. You're afraid of something. What is that? Ooh, you're afraid to fully let yourself love and step into this relationship. Why is that so scary for you? Oh my gosh, because you were hurt in the past. Or oh my gosh, like, what if something bad happens in the future? Okay. Let's breathe. You're safe right now. Look around you. Okay, we're safe right now. None of those bad things in the past or in the future are happening right now. So can I let myself lean in a little bit more to this feeling of love and connection? Okay. What does that even look like and feel like in my body? Do I know my own expression and experience of love and connection? Do I know what that feels like within my own body? What is the energy? What is the expression of love and connection? Do I even know what that looks like? Am I familiar with that within my own self? How can I explore it within myself first? Or in a therapeutic relationship where we're working on that. In the dynamic of other people, can I let myself be seen? Can I let myself be vulnerable? Can my body feel safe to be vulnerable, to express, to love, to feel, to emote? Can my body feel safe to do that? And therefore, I'll be able to do that in my relationship without so much resistance. And if I have resistance, I know what it's about. And I know how to meet that resistance with love, understanding, and compassion. I know how to breathe through it and remind myself it's safe to be here, all the way here with my partner. All these bad things that my mind is saying is going to happen aren't happening right now. How can I be more present? How can I be more present? How can I just be here with what is right here, right now? And you breathe. You breathe through it, moment to moment. Just being with what is right here, right now. Releasing the illusion of the future, releasing the ties to the past, releasing the expectations of how you should feel, and just being with what is right here, right now. Being with what's real, what's right in front of you, your partner's hands, the feeling of your fingertips against their back, the look of their smile, the twinkle in their eyes when they look at you. Being able to just sit next to each other. Going outside and looking at the vastness of the sky together? Can you be in the ordinary? Can you be in the present with what is? Can you find and feel safe in the moment? Can you find magic in the boring, in the ordinary? That's how we connect. That's how we connect. So much energy around these questions and around what I've talked about today. So after listening to these, instead of going into reassurance or figuring it out, actually let yourself feel the energy that you felt and ask myself, okay, how can I do more of this? What do I need to do next? How can I make that sacred commitment to myself to expand into love? How can I take that first scary step so that fear no longer has the hold on me, but I'm actually making the decision, stepping in my power, in my decisiveness? And if you're ready, if you're ready for freaking life-changing, one-of-a-kind work, we're here for you. We're here for you. Sarah and I don't take this work lightly. It is our greatest honor to go on this journey with you. And we're here to empower you and sometimes give you a loving kick in the ass. We're here to call you forward, to call you into your expansion, into your vulnerability, into your fullest expression of who you are, not who fear is constricting you to. If you're ready for that, if you're ready to make that sacred commitment to yourself, then it's time to work with us. We do things differently. I'll say that all day long. It's time to work with us. So I'll post the link to apply to work with us. Yeah, it's time. It's time. Something's happening in the collective. We need more love. We need more expansion. We need to stop living from a place of fear. That paradigm's got to go. And your individual awakening and healing is the collective's. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this thing. Apply to work with us. Be ready to rock your world. Okay, sending you all so much love. Power. Step into your power. Change doesn't happen from knowing all the things. Change happens when we integrate, drop in, feel, do the work. The only way out is through. All right, sending you love, and until next time, can't wait to see you embrace love wholeheartedly.